I won the 2023 Royal Rumble. I punched my ticket. Michael Cole said it on commentary. He said, finish the story. Finish the story. Finish the story. I intend to finish my story. You need to finish yours.
Finish the story. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your narrative for this year's WrestleMania. Finish the story. Finish the story. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we lead going into the Elimination Chamber premium live event, as we know Cody Rhodes is going to finish his story as he punched his ticket to WrestleMania by winning the 2023 Royal Rumble match. But at the Elimination Chamber, Sami Zayn can also punch his ticket to WrestleMania by finishing his story with Roman Reigns. Will it happen? Will it not? Could we see a triple threat match? Who knows? Today, we're going to go over my predictions for tonight's Elimination Chamber Premium Live event. Alrighty. You know, we all knew eventually it was coming, right? The teardown, the betrayal, and man, the storytelling at the Royal Rumble was absolutely incredible. That's like one of the things I will say about Triple H's WWE in this short time that he's been in charge is the storytelling has gotten so much better in WWE. And it's not just Sami and the Bloodline over the past year, but we see little hints of things that may or might happen. And I take into, say, for example, we've seen teases of the Hurt Business possibly coming back, and I'll talk about that when we get to our first match, as I give my predictions for the Elimination Chamber. But we see these little subtle hints of MVP talking to Shelton, talking to Cedric. We've seen him interact with Bobby Lashley. The storytelling over a period of time has improved the WWE product so much, which makes even this whole storyline with Sami, Cody, Roman even better as we are heading into WrestleMania, the final event before WrestleMania. But I'll talk more about Cody, Sami, and Roman later. But let's start first with a match that many people say that should be saved for WrestleMania. But I say, why? Why not pump up the other premium live events? The minor shows, why not pump them up and give them a big match? And Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar. The third match, I'm kind of disappointed because I do have on my phone here the match card, and I'm kind of disappointed that this is just a regular singles match. And I kind of wish there was a stipulation to it. Maybe there's going to be a finish where we'll get a rematch at WrestleMania in a stipulation like a steel cage, maybe the fight pit, which would be quite fitting for both Bobby and Brock. That would be very interesting, but I will say this, I record this as SmackDown is about to go off the air, and I've seen a little bit of SmackDown, but it's interesting to me what they've teased because, and yes, this will contain some spoilers for SmackDown if you haven't watched it yet. Bray Wyatt called out the winner of Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar on SmackDown. So that leads me to believe that's Bray's next opponent is whoever wins this match, which is compelling and interesting because you could go either way with it, and that makes it harder to predict this match because you would think that okay, maybe Brock moves on to Gunther at WrestleMania, after that showdown in the Royal Rumble. But then, where does that leave Bobby Lashley? Maybe he reforms a Hurt Business, as I've talked about, where we've seen these little interactions. But to me, the winner of this match facing Bray Wyatt is interesting to me. Because that makes the match harder to predict. And I really feel like this is where Bobby Lashley is going to win, because I really think that we're going to get Lesnar and Gunther at WrestleMania. Let's go on to one of the chamber matches here, because the one I do want to talk about here, because I think it's kind of interesting, because they kind of could have went either way with this. The Elimination Chamber match for a shot at facing Bianca Belair at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. We have Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalya, a returning Carmella, and, well, everyone's predictable pick of Asuka. And it's funny because Rhea chose Charlotte as she won the Women's Royal Rumble, and she chose Charlotte to face at WrestleMania. She wants her revenge on Charlotte for beating her a couple years ago at COVID Mania. And to me, I think you could have just reversed this a little bit here. And I think I would have been happy no matter what. But I think, you could have had Rhea go after Bianca, use their history from NXT. Rhea faced Bianca at NXT TakeOver Portland, leading up to Rhea and Charlotte in 2020, before Rhea lost. We also know Asuka has history with Charlotte, where Asuka lost her streak to Charlotte. So Asuka could have got her revenge. So this could have gone either way. But obviously here, pick is going to be Asuka, unless they want to go with Liv Morgan. But outside of that, I can't see it being anyone other than Asuka. The second Elimination Chamber for the United States Championship. And again, this kind of complicates things because you kind of wonder where they're going for WrestleMania. But you have Austin Theory, the U.S. champion, versus Seth freaking Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Judgment Day member Damian Priest, and Montez Ford of the Street Profits. So, is this it? Are they going to pull the trigger on Montez Ford? Is he going to get a singles push? That's kind of in the back of my mind here as I'm thinking about who's going to win this match. And this would be a great way for Montez to get that push and start his singles career. Even though I don't want them to break up the Street Profits, I kind of just want them to be like the New Day, When Kofi won the WWE Championship a couple years ago, he was still a part of the New Day. So I kind of want to see Montez Ford win the singles title while still being a part of the Street Profits. But when you look at the other options in this match, okay, Johnny Gargano would be a good option. Especially if, Ciampa comes back from injury. You play off the history there with Ciampa and Gargano. Priest would be a good choice because I think Judgment Day needs some titles to give them credibility now that they've gotten back on track. Bronson Reed, he just returned, but he's kind of in that role of the monster that everyone needs to be worried about. Seth Rollins and then Austin Theory, to me, I think Montez is a dark horse for me, but I think Theory retains here in this match. I think, at least based off of what we're seeing on Raw, Seth Rollins is setting up for a match with Logan Paul, which I think is a complete waste of Seth freaking Rollins. But then again, I'm not a fan of Logan Paul, but point being is I think wasting Seth Rollins on Logan Paul when there's so many better options for him for WrestleMania is quite stupid. But I think Theory retains, and we get that long-awaited match. Austin Theory, John Cena for the United States Championship at WrestleMania. Mixed tag team match. I mentioned Damian Priest, the Judgment Day. Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley, the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble, will team up to face the Hall of Famers, Edge and Beth Phoenix. This is kind of simple. You gotta keep Rhea looking strong heading into WrestleMania. So I think Rhea will probably get the pinfall here. Yeah, get the pinfall here. But something will happen with Edge and Finn Balor, and then they will probably have a match at WrestleMania. Which, according to rumors, that might actually happen. And you can actually build off of this, where after Rhea takes the title from Charlotte, Beth can be one of her first opponents. So that will be, you can kind of continue that there. And I think a lot of fans would like to see a one-on-one match between Beth and Rhea Ripley. So obviously, the real reason everyone is watching the Elimination Chamber, and the reason I specifically picked this t-shirt for this video was because of Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns. Finish your story, the narrative of this WrestleMania season. And, I do want to say I applaud WWE for not ignoring this, for trying not to push Sami Zayn aside, ignore the whole story that's been growing with the bloodline for the past year. The fact that they're actually acknowledging that, this is a thing and Sami's getting his match. And you have this potential here of, do Cody versus Sami, Cody versus Roman. Do you make it a triple threat? There's so many possibilities here that it makes you really wonder, could Sami pull this off? Could Sami actually finish his story in his hometown, home country of Canada, Montreal? Could he do it? And we know this man right here, Kevin Owens, he's going to play a role in it. Because if you go off of, at least from what we're building towards, Sami, Kevin versus the Usos at WrestleMania, and I know a lot of people will say, well, they've gone this far, Sami winning the tag titles is underwhelming, but you bet by the end of the Elimination Chamber, we are going to be wanting Sami and Kevin Owens to win those tag team titles. Whether it's the SmackDown tag titles, the Raw tag titles, or both of them, who knows? Because the Usos have been defending both titles individually. Which brings me to the next question. Where is Jey Uso's alliance? We saw last week on SmackDown, Sami Zayn said, "I acknowledge you," to Jey Uso. He pretty much thanked him for walking away at the Royal Rumble and not joining in on the beatdown. And it's crazy to think, but Sami Zayn may not be the star of this whole thing. The bloodline. This might be Jey Uso's story. And main event Jey Uso might just be getting ready to be the main event. And it's call me crazy, but depending on what happens tonight, is Jey going to show his alliance? Is blood thicker than water? There's so much intrigue to this match, and I can't wait to see what happens. But for predictions, I'm going to say Roman Reigns retains. I just want them to do a dusty finish, which is very appropriate for the fact that Roman Reigns' next opponent is going to be the son of the American Dream, Cody Rhodes. So a dusty finish seems to be very appropriate here. Maybe you do that spot from Roadblock 2016 where Dean Ambrose hit 30 Ds on Triple H. 1, 2, 3. Everybody thought Ambrose won the championship, but then they revealed that Triple H's foot was under the ropes. Yeah. Just imagine that. Just imagine that. Like, Haluva kick. 1, 2, 3. You get that crowd pop, which will be massively insane. Especially if you can do this in a way where the camera shot does not show Roman Reigns' foot on the ropes. Or you don't give the fans can't really see it, even if they're sitting in the front row. But they can't really tell that his foot was is under the ropes. My idea would be this. Simple. You have Luva kick. 1, 2, 3. But a masked man from the crowd puts Roman's foot on the ropes at the last second. Obviously, in either situation, you would have this big celebration. Everybody thinks Sami won, but then Paul Heyman kind of tells the ref to look at the replay. Roman's foot was on the ropes, and then maybe you reveal that this masked man who put Roman's foot on the rope was Jey Uso. And then Sami, he sees the replay, he's in shock. He turns, he sees this masked person that's covered his face, he can't see who it is. Then you get that reveal of Jey Uso, and Sami is stunned that Jey would do this after, everything that happened at the Rumble to last week when they were in the parking lot. And then Roman would win after the match restarts. The massive heat that it would get Roman heading into the match with Cody Rhodes would be incredible. Massive. Obviously, at that point, you would have the beatdown of Sami Zayn, and then this man right here Kevin Owens returns another massive pop to save the day to set up Owens and Zayn versus the Usos at WrestleMania. But that's just what I think is going to happen at the Elimination Chamber. I'm excited for this show. I mean, what is going to happen? A lot of intrigue in all the matches. I mean, outside of really Asuka winning, a lot of the other matches, they can go either way. You could go either way with any other match on this card. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Who is going to win at the Elimination Chamber? Should Sami Zayn finish his story? Should we get the storybook ending of Sami Zayn dethroning Roman Reigns? Should Sami Zayn be entered into the match at WrestleMania for a triple threat? A lot of intrigue. Man, I honestly wish I was at this show, but it's gonna be fun watching it from home. I've been your host, Money Mike, and again, leave your comments below. Hit the like button, subscribe for more wrestling news, and enjoy the show tonight. And whether or not we are feeling Usi or we're not feeling Usi, well, that's up to Roman Reigns and the Bloodline to decide.